Hello and welcome to Veckans Band. And can you tell who you are and which band you play with?
Hello, I'm Walren. I play in the French doom metal band Angellore, and I also sing for another French metal band, but who is doing black metal Abduction.
Okay. So how was the band formed?
Oh, Angellore, we started back in 2007. It's actually funny because back then I was a reviewer on a small French website, and I grew up listening to hard rock and heavy metal, but then around 2006, 2007 is the time where I was opening myself to a lot of new genres of metal. I mean, new
Yeah.
to me, like gothic and doom metal. And I read on another website, I read a review of the Saturnus album Veronica Decides to Die. And the reviewer was talking so highly about the album that I thought, oh shit, I gotta listen to this. It sounds awesome. And I listened to that album, Veronica Decides to Die, and it made a great impression on me. So I decided to contact the reviewer who made that glowing review. And the guy was actually Rosarius. And he read my reviews as well, and he liked them, and we decided to get in touch. And he was living in the south of France, just like me. And actually, our very first phone call lasted for 5 hours. So we became friends right away. And
Ooh.
he said, yeah, I have in mind to form a doom metal band. And I was already playing a bit of keyboards and trying to learn how to growl and sing a bit better. And he was a guitar player, also keyboardist and singer. And we thought, okay, let's do the doom metal that we would love to hear, a mix between his more gothic influences and my folk
Yeah.
influences, this common love for melancholic doom metal. And that's how we started, basically.
Okay. So you just been in French friend with 5 hours, you say?
Yeah, I mean, the first phone call lasted for 5 hours, yes. And immediately after that, we said, let's try a band together.
Oh,
And we never even met back then. So it was actually it was actually crazy, but we became friends instantly. That's awesome.
yeah. But that is great.
Yeah,
So then maybe you can say it's real friends.
yeah, definitely.
So how did you come up with the band name?
It was actually Rosario's ID. When it came to my place in August 2007, we started to fiddle around with some ideas. He brought an electric guitar and he played some riffs, and I played some keyboards, and we wrote lyrics together, vocal melodies. And he said, yeah, I was thinking we should just name the band Angellore. It's from a Tristania song from their very first album, Widow's Weed. Tristania is a band that we both like very much.
Okay.
And it has this idea of it sounds elegant, a bit like a female name, and it's the idea behind Angellore is the mysteries of eternity, and that goes very well with the music and the atmosphere we try to convey in our songs.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
So how long have you been active in your band?
Well, as I was telling you, we started in 2007, but back then it was only a project. It was just Rosarius and I writing songs and doing EP in a very, very, very crappy studio settle. I mean, I had no material and no experience back then, so it was really homemade.
Yeah.
But then we decided to record a proper album and become a real band. And in 2009, we hired a drummer, Ronnie, and since then, the band has evolved, and now we are five in the band. But I would say, yeah, the really Angelo was born in 2007, but we really became a proper band and not a project in 2009 when the drummer joined in.
Okay. Then you have been in life for a very long time.
Yeah, 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 definitely. 14 years already,
Yeah.
almost 15.
So
That's
how many
crazy.
gigs have you done with your band?
Unfortunately, none. That's a big
None.
issue because, I mean, we had opportunities. We had real cool opportunities to open for some bands that we truly love, but we could never get ready on time. I mean, our drummer, he was still a student back then, and we had a really good gig offer, but then he moved to Finland to finish his studies there and work there. And then we were supposed to do a live gig in a small doom metal festival in Belgium, and the organizer of the festival really wanted to have us, but then our female singer Lucia, who happens to be the wife of Rosarius, she was pregnant with twins, so we had to cancel. And
Oh,
now, I mean, we have some people following the band, and I know that some people would be willing to travel to see us play live. So the pressure is actually getting higher, and we would have to rehearse much more before playing live. So we want to do it. We have even a second guitar player in mind that could help us with that. But we've been very busy with the writing and recording of our fourth album. So, and with the pandemic, of course, there are no opportunities to play live these days. But hopefully, sometime next year, who knows? But we want to
okay.
do it. We want to do it.
Yeah, but I think the pandemic will stop a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, how many albums have you released now?
We released three albums.
Okay.
The first one we started to record in December 2009, and it took forever to be released. It was only released in 2013, and it was
Yeah.
really hard for us. Everything was complicated, you know, it's doom metal, so there is like a curse above the genre, and everything seems difficult. The
Okay.
second album was recorded in 2015, released, I mean, in 2015, and the third one was released just 2 years ago, 2020. And we hope that the fourth one will be released either at the end of this year or maybe early next year.
Okay. That was my next question. When the next album will coming out. So then you have answer.
Yes.
So how long have you been active in music? I don't mean just only the band. I mean music. You know.
Actually, I've been a music fanatic for years. I mean, I have three sisters and three elder sisters. I mean, and my two oldest sisters, they are much older than me, and they were into Kiss and Manowar. And basically, when I was a kid, I was brought up
Yeah.
hard rock and heavy metal music. And I started my first band when I was 8. It was called Betrayed, and I was basically bullying the other kids at school, like, stop playing football, let's talk about music, let's
Yeah.
rehearse and write our own songs or whatever. So I actually started very, very early with that, and I basically never stopped. I mean, at it has been mostly small projects, but these days I have Angellore and Abduction, as I was telling you, and there will be more coming up. I will be more and more active in music in the coming years. That's for sure.
Okay, that's great. So maybe we on Veckans Band Med Radio can play the premiere of next single.
That would be awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So how important is your music for you?
Oh, I mean, it's my life. I mean, music
Uh,
is my main passion in life. You know, I actually work as a journalist for a French metal magazine, aside from my music project. So, music, I make my living out of music with magazine Rock Hard in France. And basically, all my leisure time and all my money is going to my project. Angellore, mostly because this is my
yeah.
baby. I mean, this is very important to me. But all the other projects I have, some people know about some of them, and some are still secret for now. But yeah, music is
Yeah.
everything. I guess
I
for you
can.
too, right?
Yeah, I can understand it very well.
Yeah.
So where do you see your band about 5 years?
5 years. I mean, the issue with Angellore has always been timing. I mean, we are a great pack of friends, and songwriting comes easy for us because with Rosarius we have a very strong chemistry, and we just love the same thing and share the same vision for what the band should be. So in 5 years from now, I hope that the fourth album will be released, that the fifth album will be released, hopefully, because we want to
Yeah.
keep on writing, and hopefully we will have play live at this point. So I don't think Angellore will ever tour because we are busy with our day jobs and live in different part of the country. But if we could at least do some festival appearances here and there, just underground things, that just would be the dream. I mean, to be able to perform live every once in a while and keep on writing and recording music.
Okay. So where did you record your last album?
Actually, the first three albums were recorded in the south of France, in
Yeah.
Marseille, and the fourth one is being recorded in Belgium at Dea's studio, Opus Magnum. Dea is a guy from Belgium who is incredible. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's
No.
he's a figure of the underground in Belgium. He has so many projects, like, and he released something like 200 album in his lifetime. I mean, it's crazy. He's a guy who plays loads of instruments, and he's a producer as well for a living. I mean, a professional producer, and I've been working with him for my band Abduction, for my black metal band, and I knew that he loved Angellore music, and I thought he could really take us to the next level. So I talked about him to my friends in Angellore, and they said, "Yeah, sure, let's make a change because the first three albums were recorded with the same guy, and try something new." And we went to DEA and we recorded half of the album, and the second half of the album will be recorded in the end of next month if everything goes according to plans. And it
Okay.
was just great. I mean, he knows our stuff. He's really into that kind of melancholic gothic doom metal, and he suggested some amazing arrangement and keyboard sound, and we really got along well. So it was a good match, definitely.
Okay, great. So, what makes your band different from the other bands?
That's a good question. I think we, I mean, we are deeply rooted in 90s metal, and I think not so many bands are doing that nowadays, that exact style of gothic doom metal as it
Yeah,
was made in the 90s. And we have a strong emphasis on melodies. Our songs are usually, I mean, if you heard the albums, you know that they are changing a lot. Like you have clean vocals, then extreme vocals, then acoustic part, then electric part, then violin, then that sort of stuff. It's because Rosarius and I we love doom metal, but we think that some bands are just they have a great idea and then they just expand on that idea for I don't know 9 or 10 or 11 minutes, and usually the idea is great, but it's just too monolithic, always the
yeah,
same. And for us, we want to keep our listeners interested. So basically, we are always afraid of boring people. We don't want to
yeah,
bore them to death, and we just want to make our songs interesting for us as well as we are our first listeners, obviously. So I think that makes Angellore a bit different. The song starts with, I don't know, either an acoustic part or a heavy riff, and you don't know what's going to happen next. You just know that there will be plenty of ideas. Some people actually blame us for that. We had really bad reviews saying, "Oh, these guys, they throw everything at the face of the listener and they should learn how to choose their IDs better or whatever," but it's actually a very conscious decision. I mean, we want it that way.
yeah. I can understand it's different and it maybe it's hard and make.
Yeah.
So, which song are your favorite song from everyone you have made with your band?
Um, for Angellore, I would say I think that A Shrine of Clouds, the opening song from our second album, La Litanie des Cendres, I think it's our best song, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if it's my personal favorite, but I think it's the one that is the most well made in a way. I mean, this song, it's exactly expressing what we wanted to express with the music. So I think it's catchy, it's melancholic, I'm very proud of that song. I think that, and I can see that on the internet that is one of the favorite songs of the people who have been listening to us as well. And on a more personal level, I'm quite happy with Drown Divine, the third song of the latest album, because it's a song I wrote entirely myself. So usually Rosarius and I, we work together, but sometimes he's making songs on his own and I make songs on my own. And Drown Divine is a song I spent a lot of hours working on. It was actually a process that lasted for years. I mean, the original idea is coming, I had it in 2010, I think. And then I kept on working on the song for years and years. And when I submitted it to the band, I was really hoping they would like it because I put a lot of myself in that song.
Mm.
And actually, they loved it immediately. And it was such a pleasure to hear my ideas coming to life in the studio. The demo I
Yeah.
had was very rough and unprofessional, but the ideas were there, the melodies were there, the lyrics were there. And when we rehearsed it and then recorded it, it became what it is now. And to me, this song will always be super special.
Okay, that's great. So, have you some dream with your band? Want to go and play like Wacken? Understand my question?
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to choose just one dream because, yeah, that there are so many things that would be
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, playing abroad would be great. I mean, Wacken would be, of course, awesome, but I think Angellore would be more suited for doom metal festivals like Under the Doom in Portugal or Madrid is the Dark in Spain, or you have all over Europe, or Dutch Doom Days. You have this kind of gothic doom metal festivals here and there in Europe, and playing there would be awesome.
Yeah.
Dark bombastic event in Romania, that would be perfect. And otherwise, I would actually love to record some of our songs with a proper orchestra. I mean, it seems silly for an underground band like us, but on the next album we have a cello player, we have an oboe player, we have a clarinet player, and we like to work with choirs and with symphonic instruments. And I think
Mm.
Angellore has a symphonic part in its music, and we would love to expand on that. So if one day we have the chance to play, not even with a big orchestra, but with a professional choir, or just a four, yeah, quartet, string quartet, that would be super awesome. So either
Yeah.
that or playing live in the right atmosphere, the right festival, that would be, yeah, the dream.
So if you like to do metal, then you need to listen to my live next time. I go live 8 o'clock this evening.
All right.
So it will play doom black metal from Portugal.
Ah, okay. Sounds
So
interesting.
yeah. So do you have a label and why?
I'm sorry?
Label.
Label. It's actually been complicated for Angellore, unfortunately, because we changed label with every album, and that was never the intention. That was just things that happen. Our first label didn't really invest on us. The second label was great. It was a small Swedish label, actually, run by an Italian guy when he was living in Sweden. But we felt that the promotion was not as big as we were hoping for. And now we are on a French label called
Yeah.
Finisterian Dead End. They are a small label, but the guy running it is super into what he's doing, super passionate guy, super nice guy as well. So we get along very well. And we actually got a Spanish label, the Vinyl Division, to release the LP version of our third album, because we had a CD version and a LP version, which was also a dream becoming true, to be honest. So we don't know what we will do for the fourth album. I don't know if we will do a LP again, but for the CD version, we really hope to stay with Finisterian Dead Ends, because they do a fine job.
Okay, that's great. So who write the songs?
Sorry?
Who write the songs? Who
Uh,
makes every song?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be Rosarius and me, just like usual. I mean, that hasn't changed, and I don't see any reason for it to change. We will actually, we both had personal projects when we met. I had Betrayed, and he had a project, a gothic, not metal, a gothic project called Abbey Sanctum. And there were a lot of songs written for Abbey Sanctum or for Betrayed that we thought, oh, these songs are actually cool. And if we reworked on them with the experience we have now, we could turn them into beautiful songs for Angellore. So the next album will be a mix between completely new songs and songs from our past that were either never released or very confidential, that we will rework on and rewrite to make them like Angellore should sound in 2022.
Yeah, I can understand it. So, to everyone don't know you, can you tell what a song are about?
You mean the themes of the lyrics, for example?
Yeah.
Um, well, it's in that aspect we are kind of cliche. We love um, our music is supposed to convey the atmosphere of a dream, and it's very romantic in the really pure literary sense of the word. Like you have some passion, some lost love, some angel statues by the graveyard, and the moonlit sky, and the frozen fairies and that sort of stuff. It's kind of we talk about the beauty of nature, we talk about love, we talk about loss, we talk about our impressions of death and that sort of stuff. It's very romantic and melancholic, but with always a glimpse of light and of hope, because we're not here to crush the listeners with heavy depression. We're just here to show the most beautiful side of melancholy, I would say.
Okay, then I understand. So that was my last question. And did you want to say anything to everyone who want to see this interview with you?
Well, thank you very much for listening or watching if you are doing that. And I would say that Angellore is a bit different from, at least, of course, to me, as one of the songwriters and singers. But Angellore is a bit different from what you might expect from either gothic or doom metal. So give it a listen if you haven't,
And
because
give it a chance.
yeah, exactly. I mean, just give it a
Yeah.
try and see for yourself if you like it or not.